Our esteemed speaker this morning is Commander Joe Guzman from the class of 1999. I have recently unearthed my letter of recommendation for Joe to be considered for admission to the United States Naval Academy, in which I touted his excellent qualities as a student. Permit me to read a little from the letter's conclusion. As you can see, his perseverance in academics has also led to his success in other areas of student life. He is a wonderful musician and vocalist. I am sure you have read elsewhere in his application about the awards he's received in music and voice. Additionally, Joe is also very generous with his time. He has devoted many hours of community service to migrant families and their health care. He is also an athlete and a diver. Joe is always learning and challenging himself to be the best person and student that he can be. These qualities as a student and as a person put him ahead of many of his peers. By accepting Joe into the Naval Academy, you will be gaining a gifted scholar, athlete, musician, and community servant, as well as a young man with high morals and traditional values. He will relish the challenges that your university will pose to him and make your institution proud to have him as one of their own. As you can see from his accomplishments, Joe, you have made us all just that, proud of your accomplishments. We're proud of your accomplishments here when you were a student at St. Andrews. We're proud of your accomplishments at the Naval Academy and in the United States Navy. And I'm sure that all of these institutions are so proud to call you their own. Congratulations on your many accomplishments. To tell you more specifically about Commander Guzman's military accomplishments is Blake Perkins. Blake will be attending West Point in the fall.
Our speaker this morning is a 19-year commissioned officer in the United States Navy who has dedicated his life to serving. Graduating cum laude from St. Andrews in 1999, he has displayed his academic achievement, exemplary character, and immense leadership skills throughout his career. Upon his graduation, he reported to the United States Naval Academy and subsequently attended Harvard University, earning a master's in international security policy. He has defined what it means to be a leader through his efforts to terminate Al-Qaeda and ISIS, and more recently, his diligence to stem the flow of drugs into the United States. Here to share more with you about his journey and experiences since graduating from St. Andrews, Commander Johan Guzman.
Thank you. Good morning, Scots. Thank you, Mr. Shapiro, Dr. Good for hosting our family this week, Ms. Merrill for that trip down memory lane, and soon-to-be Cadet Perkins for that kind introduction. I wish you even more adventures in your military career. When Ms. Merrill invited me to speak, I immediately reflected on a rather uncomfortable conversation we had after class one day on the second floor of Rooks Hall just outside her classroom over 20 years ago. We had just written an essay on a book. I don't remember its name, but I'll never forget. She pulled me aside and, while thumbing through the paper, looked like blood all over it from all the red ink, she said, "So I read your essay, and I have to ask, did you read the book?" So we talked about the book for a bit and what I was trying to convey in the paper, to which she said, "Well, none of that came across, so let's work on it." She then worked with me outside of class on my writing, and a few months later, I was sitting where you are today. It was one of many decision points in my life, like many of you have had, when I could have just blown off the advice and settled with bad grades, or sought help. It was a choice between a disciplined approach or a destructive one. I chose discipline. Then later felt a huge sense of freedom when I walked the same path you are about to walk. After years of having to make decisions between discipline and self-destruction, and if there's one phrase I may offer you today, it's this.
Whose child is that?
It's my biggest fan. After years of having to make decisions between discipline and self-destruction, and if there's one phrase I may offer you today, it's this. Dig. Dig, D-I-G, discipline is good. And the disciplined approach is the only way to find true freedom. For those being inducted today, I hope you feel that same sense of freedom as I did, and I honor you for your disciplined achievement. Let's jump back a few more years, and as a rising freshman trying out for the varsity soccer team, I was told by some of the seniors that I was too small to make it. So I worked on speed drills and ball handling all summer. Then, boom, saw my name on the varsity team roster on the old gym. And what a sense of freedom. You athletes know what I'm talking about. And it's the same with performing arts and academics. Only through disciplined sacrifices can we achieve that sense of glory and freedom. In the summer of 2014, when you juniors and seniors were about 9 or 10 years old, the terrorist group ISIS was on the rise and taking over huge portions of Syria and Iraq. As the chief of target development for the Middle East, I was blessed to lead an incredibly talented team to select and develop the targets to destroy and keep ISIS from carrying out any more of their terrorist attacks. They were targeting innocent women and children, committing genocide against the Yazidis, capturing and beheading journalists, and slaughtering Christians, Jews, even their own fellow Muslims who did not prescribe to the most militant interpretations of the Quran and Sharia law. They were using hospitals, schools, and churches to hide, and they were forcing everyone they encountered to swear allegiance to the caliphate or behead them. There was intense pressure from the president and senior leadership to kill the terrorists and kill them fast to prevent them from harming Americans and our allies. The generals would come into our spaces, "Give me targets, Guzman." Now, the U.S. has the capacity to wipe full cities off the face of the earth at the touch of a button. But in this particular war, it would have been morally wrong to indiscriminately kill civilians and strategically unwise, because harming civilians would just play into the enemy's hands and create even more terrorists. We had to have the discipline to methodically go about developing the targets to neutralize the enemy while avoiding the killing of innocent civilians. And we had to have the discipline to advise our top leadership against significant targets when civilian lives were at risk, to do the right thing under pressure. Then, as part of Joint Task Force Syria, we were screening Syrian fighters to arm and train so that they could take the fight to ISIS as well. We had to discern whether they would help us or just take the weapons and commit atrocities of their own. Syria is so complex. There are over 1,500 tribes, each with their own interests: Shia, Sunni, various Kurdish groups, Alawites, PKK, PYG, SDF, WTF, LOL. Confused emoji? Of course, those last three have nothing to do with Syria. LOL, laugh out loud, WTF, why the frown? In all seriousness, by taking the disciplined approach in each mission, we had ISIS on the run, we upheld the American value of defending innocent life, we found innovative ways to get at the funding sources of ISIS, like impeding their financial transactions and neutralizing their oil supply, and our moral conscience was clear. Of the targets my team and I selected, we had 0 collateral damage and over 13,000 enemy kills. Soon after, the ISIS geographic caliphate was no more, and its leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, had been eliminated. Discipline is good. Unfortunately, much of society these days describes freedom as doing nothing, having fun all day, every day, and making TikTok videos. Sounds relaxing, and a break every once in a while is absolutely necessary. But for the long term, such a life, day after day, has never resulted in true, lasting rewards, like the reward you have each earned here today. You dig and you find freedom. For those not being pinned today, dig and you will have that same chance to get there. Get into your dream school and achieve your dream job as I did. The teachers here will take the time for you, but it's up to you to dig. Discipline is good. And that process of repeatedly choosing the disciplined approach will arm you well for college and beyond, because the challenges just get more difficult after you graduate St. Andrews. As I experienced in the Middle East, Africa, South America, Europe, and Asia, you're each going to face similar complex situations, ethical and moral challenges in any field you choose. When you do, I want you to remember the one word from today: dig. And then have the discipline to do what's right, the discipline to take the harder path, the discipline to keep your head in the game in the crisis, the discipline to treat others with dignity and respect, even when they may not deserve it. Discipline. Discipline is good. Discipline brings freedom. Before I close, let me say again how proud I am to be here. It really warms my heart to be back at my alma mater. To the inductees up here, well done. And for all of us, I have 3 challenges. First, when you go home today, hug your parents. Boarding students, give them a call. Tell them thank you for making the sacrifice to put you in such an amazing place that will launch you in whatever direction you have the discipline to go. Second, no matter what profession you choose, get in the arena and use your talents to serve a higher calling. Russia's war crimes continue as Putin slaughters civilians. China and U.S. economic and security interests are clashing. Iran is enriching uranium and threatening our Israeli brothers and sisters. Millions are living in abject poverty around the world. Environmental changes are driving competition for resources. The next pandemic is a matter of when, not if. And religious freedom is increasingly threatened around the world. These are just some of the issues awaiting you, and they will require businessmen and women, lawyers, doctors, scientists, economists, teachers, writers, and beyond. Ask yourself, what are your talents, and how can you use them to alleviate human suffering? There really is no greater reward when you do. Third and final challenge: dig. Thank you, and God bless you.